If you're a coach, consultant, or any kind of expert who gets paid for what you know, Amazon just revealed something about your future that you need to understand. They just cut 16,000 corporate employees. That brings the total to 30,000 jobs eliminated in just 90 days. 10% of their entire global workforce gone. Now, here's what most people are missing. This isn't just an Amazon story. There's one big buried thing in these layoffs that tells you exactly what's coming for coaches and consultants and whether you're protected or exposed. In this video, I'm going to show you what that one thing is, why it determines your future, and what the smart experts are doing right now to make sure they're on the right side of it. Let me give you the quick picture of what actually happened. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy has been very clear about why these cuts are happening. In a memo to employees, he said, and I'm quoting here, "We will need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today and more people doing other types of jobs." And then he added this, "Many of these agents have yet to be built, but make no mistake, they're coming and coming fast." Here's the thing, Amazon isn't alone. McKinsey is cutting thousands of consultants. Deloitte just announced they're scrapping traditional job titles entirely. They called their old structure outdated. This is a pattern and it's accelerating. So that's what's happening, but here's what most people are missing, and this is the part that actually determines whether this helps you or hurts you. There's a framework I use to think about what's happening right now. Once you see it, you'll know exactly where you stand. Let me walk you through it. If you're a coach, a consultant, a speaker, or a course creator, anyone who monetizes their expertise, your clients are reading the same headlines you are. And here's what's going through their minds. If Amazon, a $2.5 trillion company, decided they don't need as many internal experts, do we really need that outside consultant? That coach, that advisor? See, Andy Jassy didn't say these people were bad at their jobs. He said Amazon doesn't need as many of them anymore. AI can handle the work. And that's the threat. It's not that you're incompetent. It's that your competence might not be enough anymore. Stay with me here. This is important. McKinsey, the firm that literally advises other companies on restructuring, deployed an internal AI tool called Lily. You know what it does? It reclaims 30% of their consultants' research and synthesis time. Think about that. The firm that sells expert advice is using AI to reduce how much expert time they need. If McKinsey is doing this internally, what do you think their clients are thinking about doing with their external consultants? Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because this threat doesn't hit everyone equally. And once you understand this framework, the authority divide, you'll see exactly why some coaches and consultants are going to thrive through this, while others are going to struggle. Here's how it works. There are two types of experts in the market right now. The first type operates in what I call the processing layer. These are experts whose value comes from gathering information, synthesizing research, analyzing data, and delivering findings. They're smart, they're competent, they do good work. Here's the problem. That's exactly what AI is getting good at. When Andy Jassy talks about agents coming fast, he's talking about AI that can do processing work, research, analysis, synthesis. The stuff that used to take a junior consultant 3 days now takes an AI 3 minutes. The second type operates in the authority layer. These are experts who aren't just competent, they're known. They have a perspective people recognize, a body of work out in the world that exists outside of any single client engagement, a reputation that precedes them. Here's the key distinction, and I want you to really hear this. Processing can be automated. Authority cannot. AI can gather information, AI can analyze data, AI can even write a decent first draft of a strategy document. But AI cannot be the trusted voice that a CEO calls when they need perspective. AI cannot be the recognized expert that a board brings in when the stakes are really high. AI cannot be the name that comes to mind when someone asks, "Who's the best person to help us with us?" Think of it like this. Imagine two consultants. Both are equally skilled. Both have 20 years of experience. Both deliver excellent work. But one of them, when you Google their name, you find articles they've written, talks they've given, a book they published. You've heard their name before you ever needed their help. The other one, nothing. They're invisible until they show up in your inbox with a proposal. When budgets get tight and AI gets better, which one gets cut? That's the authority divide. And the Amazon layoffs just accelerated how fast that divide is widening. Now, I've watched this play out dozens of times over the years, and the pattern is always the same. The coaches and consultants who struggle, they're the ones operating purely in that processing layer. They're good at what they do. They're really good, but nobody knows it. They're invisible until they're in a sales conversation trying to prove their value from scratch every single time. The ones who thrive, they made a shift. At some point, they stopped just doing the work and they started building something that exists outside of any single client relationship. A body of work, a point of view people recognize, an asset that positions them as the authority before the first conversation ever happens. And here's the interesting part. It's not that they became better consultants, they became known consultants. That's the difference. I've seen someone double their fees, not because they got smarter, but because they got visible. Clients came to them pre-sold. The sales conversation changed from let me prove my value to let's figure out how to work together. The power dynamic flipped. And that's what the data actually shows is happening right now in how buyers choose experts. So what actually works? Here's the principle I've seen proven over and over. This is the exact approach we use with our clients, so I'm not holding anything back here. There's research from a company called 6 Sense. They study how B2B buyers actually make decisions, and what they found is remarkable. 81% of buyers have already chosen their preferred vendor before they even talk to a single seller. 8 out of 10 buyers have made up their own mind before you even know they exist. Forrester found something similar. 92% of buyers start their evaluation with at least one vendor already in mind. 41% have a single preferred vendor before they even begin formal evaluation. What this means is that if you're not in their awareness before they start searching, you're not in the consideration set, period. And here's the hopeful part. When you are known, when you've built that authority, the economics change completely. Edelman and LinkedIn found out that 60% of executives are willing to pay a premium to work with organizations that produce high quality thought leadership. So the answer isn't to work harder or get more certifications or post more content on LinkedIn. The answer is to become the known authority, the expert people seek out before they start searching, not just competent, known. That's what protects you when AI gets better and budgets get tighter. You're not competing with AI or cheaper alternatives. You're the name that comes to mind when the stakes are high. So here's the bottom line. In a world where AI can handle the processing work, the research, the analysis, the synthesis, the only sustainable advantage is authority, being the known expert, the one people seek out before they even start searching. Now, knowing this is one thing. Actually building that kind of authority without spending the next year trying to become a writer or a content machine, that's the part most people get stuck on. Because here's what I've seen over and over. The coaches and consultants who are thriving right now have an asset working for them, something that positions them as the expert before the first conversation even happens, something that does the selling before they even get in the room. And that's why I pulled this video out here for you to watch next. It shows exactly how we help experts like you build that asset, a book, in 90 days, not by teaching you to write, but by extracting what's already in your head, turning it into something that attracts clients and commands premium fees. It works so well, we even back it with an ROI guarantee. Watch that one next. I think you'll see exactly what I mean.